Sydney 1926. This is the story of a man. He was just a kid from the sticks, just a kid with a plan. St. George cricket team took a gamble and played 18-year-old Don in first grade. Pretty soon that young man showed them how to flash the blade. At the age of 19, he was playing for the state. From Adelaide to Brisbane, the runs did not abate. Yes, Donny hit them hard, and he hit them straight. Don was more than just a batsman, he was something like a tide. Don was more than just one man, he could take on any side. Teams always came for Bradman, because his wicket they needed to take. Don held sides in the palm of his hands, and many a century he would make. A team came out from England, and Wally Hammond wore his felt hat like a chief. All through the summer 1928 to 29, they gave the green caps no relief. Some reputations came to grief. They say the darkest hour is right before the dawn. But in the hour when England were handing out the greatest slaughter, the greatest cricket avenger, Don was being born. But who then could have seen the shape of things to come? In Bradman's first test, he went for 18 and won, and they dropped him like a gun. Now Big Boris Tate was the trickiest of them all, and a man with a wisecracking habit, and Bradman heard ringing in his ears, "Hey Whitey, that Bradman, he is my rabbit." Don was more than just a batsman, he was something like a tide. Don was more than just one man, and on his own Don was a match for any side. Teams always came for Bradman, because his wicket they needed to take. Don held sides in the palm of his hands, and many a century he would make. In England in 1930, Bradman's seed burst into flower. All of the England cricket captain Percy Chapman's grace failed him, and it was Bradman who was the power. Don murdered them in Yorkshire, and he murdered them in Kent. Don murdered them in Leicestershire, and Leeds was an event. Many times 300 runs Don took, and he rewrote all the cricket record books, and the critics could not comprehend this nonchalant phenomenon with the good looks. Why, this man is a machine, the English cricket fans, they said. Even his friends say he isn't human, as he clobbered every bowler with sixes over their head. Don was more than just a batsman, he was something like a tide. Don was more than just one man, and on his own Don was a match for any side. They always came for Bradman, because his wicket they needed to take. Don held sides in the palm of his hands, and many a century he would make. In the summer of 1932, English captain Douglas Jardine had a bodyline bowling plan, and when Larwood bowled to Bradman, it was more than man to man. The staid Adelaide crowd nearly bowled over, as Roach ruled over sense, and when Bert Oldfield hit the ground, they nearly jumped the fence. Now Australian captain Bill Woodford was fine a man as ever went to the wicket, and the bruises on his body that day showed that he could stick it. But to the days he still quoted, and only he could wear it. He said there are two sides out there today, and only one of them is playing cricket. Don was longer than a memory and bigger than a town. Don's feet, they used to sparkle, and he always kept them on the ground. Fathers took their sons to see Don bat, and they never lost the sound of the roar from the grandstand, as another century from Don's bat there did abound. Now shadows have grown longer, and there's not much more yet to be told. Don batted on in Test cricket till he was 40 and averaged 99.94 in Test cricket, oh so bold. Don finally retired in 1948 from Test cricket, and his Test average will never ever be surpassed in the game. Don was the greatest cricketer of them all, and we still remember his feats and his fame. Don was more than just a batsman, he was something like a tide. Don was more than just one man, and on his own Don was more than half the side. They always came for Bradman because his wicket they needed to take. Don held sides in the palm of his hands, and many a century he would make. Yes, Don held sides in the palm of his hand, and many a century he would make.